Novak Djokovic says Eala drawing huge crowds a good problem. Manila. Amid Eala's growing influence, drawing huge crowds at the Australian Open, former world number 1 Novak Djokovic said her situation is a good problem to have as Filipinos follow her rise to prominence. Djokovic, who has the most Grand Slam wins with 24 titles, is looking at Eala and her fans on a positive note, amid talks on her match at the Australian Open being too crowded. I saw the other day with Eala, that's been a talk which is understandable. There are some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from the Philippines, which is now a big deal, said Djokovic. She's been the biggest ever tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest. So things like that happen. He even asserted that Eala could have played in a larger venue just to accommodate her fans. You could argue that it was maybe a poor schedule and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. The Serbian professional tennis player said that it's better to see the courts having this kind of problem, Djokovic insisted, comparing it to matches lacking attendance. Again, it's a good problem to have, to be honest. Let's just imagine if there's a lack of people coming or if the stands are empty, that's a bigger problem. I mean, this is great, he said. Although the world number 49 Pine eventually bowed out of the Australian Open in the first round, losing to the US ace Alicia Parks, 6-0, 3-6, 2-6, she still made waves, with a whole nation behind her back. Eala returns to action in the inaugural Philippine Women's Open, scheduled for January 26-31. A good problem to have. When Novak Djokovic sees the future in Eala in tennis, there are problems that unravel careers. Injuries that won't heal, confidence that won't return, silence where applause used to live. And then there are the other kinds of problems. The good ones. The kind Novak Djokovic was talking about when he smiled at the idea of Eala drawing huge crowds. Because in a sport built on solitude, one player, one racket, one mind, crowds don't just gather by accident. They come because something is happening. Eala, still early in her professional journey, has become that something. When Djokovic, a man who has spent 2 decades being the gravitational center of tennis, refers to Eala's crowd-pulling power as a good problem, it carries weight. This is a player who knows exactly what it means to play with expectation buzzing in the air, to feel entire stadiums lean forward on every point. He understands that attention can be both fuel and fire. And he understands that if people are showing up in droves, it means the game is growing in the right places. Stardom before the scoreline. Eala's story doesn't fit the old mold of tennis superstardom. She doesn't come from a traditional powerhouse nation. She doesn't arrive with decades of inherited tennis culture behind her. What she carries instead is something more electric, representation. For Filipino fans, Eala is not just a promising athlete. She's a first glimpse of themselves on a global tennis stage that has long felt distant. Every forehand, every fist pump, every quiet walk to the baseline feels symbolic. The crowds aren't only there to see if she'll win, they're there because she exists. That kind of attention can be overwhelming. Djokovic knows this better than most. From his early days challenging Federer and Nadal, to becoming the man everyone chased, he has lived under the brightest lights tennis can produce. When he calls this attention a good problem, he's acknowledging a truth young players don't always hear. Pressure is often proof that you matter. The weight and the gift of expectation crowds are demanding. They want magic. They want momentum. Sometimes they want miracles. For a young player, that can feel like carrying extra weight in your tennis bag, one you didn't ask for, but can't put down. But Djokovic's framing matters. He doesn't deny the difficulty. He reframes it. A good problem is something that challenges you to grow faster than you plan to. It forces maturity. It sharpens focus. It teaches you how to perform not just when the court is quiet, but when it's alive. Eala's growing fan base may test her nerves, but it will also harden them. Each match in front of packed stands becomes a rehearsal for the future, a future where big matches are the norm, not the exception. Djokovic himself was shaped this way. The boos, the cheers, the expectations, they all carved him into a competitor who could survive anywhere, against anyone. In that sense, his comment isn't just observation, it's mentorship at a distance. Tennis as a shared experience. What makes this moment especially meaningful is what it says about tennis today. The sport is changing. Its center of gravity is expanding. New regions are claiming space, new audiences are learning the rhythms of the game, new heroes are being chosen. Eala's matches drawing large crowds isn't only about her talent, it's about hunger. Fans want stories they haven't heard before. They want to believe that greatness can rise from anywhere. Djokovic, now one of the elder statesmen of the sport, seems keenly aware of this shift. His appreciation of Eala's popularity signals a generosity that often comes with longevity. He's no longer just defending his throne, he's observing the kingdom evolve. Calling the situation a good problem. He validates the noise, the excitement, the attention, not as distractions, but as signs of life. Learning to dance with the crowd. The next challenge for Eala is learning how to dance with that energy instead of fighting it. Crowds can lift you or rush you. They can turn patience into panic if you let them. Mastery lies in learning when to listen and when to tune them out entirely. This is where Djokovic's words quietly offer guidance. He's lived the lesson. The crowd is not the opponent, nor is it the savior. It's a current. You either learn to swim in it, or you exhaust yourself resisting it. For Eala, every packed stadium is an invitation to grow into the player people already believe she can become. A glimpse of tomorrow. There's something poetic about one of the greatest players in history acknowledging the rise of a young star whose journey is just beginning. It's tennis looking at itself in the mirror, recognizing both where it's been and where it's going. Eala drawing huge crowds isn't a problem to solve. It's a signal to listen to. It says the sport is alive, global, and emotionally connected in new ways. It says that fans are ready for new narratives, new accents, new flags waving in the stands, and Novak Djokovic, ever the student of the game as much as its master, sees it clearly. Some problems mean something is wrong. Others, like this one, mean something is very, very right.